Okay, let's get started. Bear in mind, these videos are meant to highlight some things for those that don't use the internet currently or barely use the internet in traditional ways. So this video is entitled Introduction to the Internet, and the goal is to cover some of the basics and to kind of explain how we can use it. Start to explain how we can use it. This is the basis for most of the trainings that we're going to go through. And I would recommend that if you haven't connected to the internet before, go ahead and try. You'll find that it really is a whole different experience, as well as like having a library and everything you need in your pocket. So about this video, first we have this short little presentation, and then I'm gonna actually show you how to do it step by step. So feel free to pause along as you go, as you need to, and we can go from there. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about internet browsers for the web and mobile devices. We're going to talk about different email providers, and we're going to set up a free account and email address, creating your gateway to the World Wide Web. And so all that stuff will be covered in this brief tutorial. About web browsers, this is going to be a bit of a stretch, but work with me. The first question I ask when I try to explain a web browser to somebody is, what is the purpose of a car? I know it makes no sense on the surface, but it will in a second. The simple answer for a car is it's going to get you from point A to point B. However, we still have tons of different kinds of cars. SUVs, coupes, sports cars, hatchbacks, convertibles, or in my case, we have a pickup truck. And each one has different trim levels, different kinds. There's different makes. There's Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram. I mean, all of them. GMC, Buick, Cadillac. There's tons of different car makes out there, and they appeal to different audiences. The same thing is true for internet browsers. I did a quick search on the web, and we'll show you how to do that in another view. And I searched for what were the top web browsers used today in 2023. And this was the list that was returned. Just a couple of terms to help everybody out. A little picture next to Google Chrome. That's called an icon. So if I refer to icons, that's what I'm talking about. But as you can see, there's Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Safari. All these browsers work on desktops or computers, as well as on tablets and mobile devices. And your virtual assistant, on your phone, like hey Google, hey Alexa, or hey Siri, those all rely on these different browsers to dive into things. I accidentally got my phone to start talking to me. And they all have different bells and whistles and different preferences. But the fact of the matter is, just like a car, the base function of a car, they're going to get you from point A to point B. It's just your way to get there. So in our demo, we're going to use Google Chrome, because currently 63% of the total market share of browsers that people are using, Google Chrome is the leader. We're going to explain a couple of key features. We're going to set up a Gmail email account. I'm going to talk about two-factor authentication and the key benefit to you. And I'm going to show you how to add a bookmark or a favorite address. Bookmark and favorites, the premise is the same. It's like it truly is saving your spot on the internet. However, the name is different depending on which browser you're going to use. And I'm going to show you in Google in how to create a favorite folder. So with that, we will go ahead and dive right into the demo. So I have this, as you can see, there's my little Google Chrome icon. Now, most web addresses start with www dot whatever you want to use. We're going to go to google.chrome, as you can see at the top. And it takes us to the Google place. Now, we will do a complete video on how to use Google to your advantage, depending on what you're looking for. But the purpose today is to show you a couple things in Chrome and how to set up an email account and your Google account. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to be able to view your bookmarks. You see these three dots up here in the upper right hand corner? When I hover the mouse over it, meaning I just point to it, it says customize and control Google Chrome. These very similar across browsers. This is a standard internet experience, but this is the three dots, or a hamburger menu where they've got three lines. That really is there, and all I have to do is click on the left mouse button, and it opens up this entire menu, as you can see here. It lets me open a new tab, a new window, and I'll explain all these down the road. But the one that I want to show you first and foremost is bookmarks. When you see the arrow to the right, that means that menu has a larger menu or a sub-menu underneath it. So I'm going to go over here to bookmarks, scroll to the left menu, and I can bookmark this tab, I can bookmark all tabs, I can show the bookmark bar. This is the one I suggest you do. Click Show Bookmarks. It'll make things super easy for you. Now, you'll see that I'm a nerd and I have a lot of different bookmarks saved, and that's all great. But the first thing I want to show you how to do is to create a folder. So when I get up into that new toolbar, which yours is most likely empty, I'm going to click the right mouse button and I'm going to open a menu. And you can see in here, it's got open all six, rename, cut, copy, paste, delete, add page, add folder, bookmark manager, show apps, shortcut, I'm going to add a folder. When I left click on that button, it shows you that it's got the bookmark bar and it says new folder. So I could change the name. So I could say, for the purpose of this video, I'll call it a demo folder. And because I have so many, it's going to show over here. And I'm going to click on it and drag it. You see how the white line is going? Click and drag basically means I'm holding the left button until I get to where I want it to populate, and then I'm going to drop it there. So I'm going to put it all the way to the left. Boom, there's my demo folder. Now, as I have these different folders, I can easily go in and organize each one of these various buttons at the top. You can see the folder icon, the little picture of the folder. These are individual web pages that I've created bookmarks for. So my harassment training that I had to go through for work, I'll just put over here since I finished it this weekend. And then I could do the same thing with my projects for my team accountability and so on and so forth. And I can clean up and organize this any way I want. Another way to organize it, I go back to the three dots, I go down, I click to bookmark, scroll over bookmarks, and I can go over to Bookmark Manager. And it'll show you the folders and all these other fun things, and they have an options to rename, delete it, cut, copy, paste, whatever the case may be. So now I'm going to go back using the arrow up here on the left, click to go back and hold to see history. Well, it's not going to let me do it, so then I'm going to close. Oh, that's because it opened a new tab. See, I have my Google tab that I was on before, and my Bookmarks Manager opened a brand new tab at the top. So all I have to do is close that tab. This other button up here, or tab that's open, is the software that I'm using to actually create this video, and I have to keep that running in the background. So now I've got my folder, life is good. I've got Google. Let's say that I want to create a bookmark for Google. I see the little lock button up here. I could click on that and drag it right into my bookmark bar, and now all I have to do to get to Google is I'll go to YouTube Music just to show you how fast it is. So there's that website. I click back on Google, poof, I'm right there. And I can easily put that directly in my demo folder if that's what I choose to do, and organize this any way that I want so I know where things are at. And everybody does it differently. There's 6 or 7, and you can go to the menu and select, bookmark this page, book da-da-da-da-da. It will do that, but this is just the way that I do it. Again, everyone has a unique way of doing it. I'm just going to show you the basics. Now, inside Google itself, 63% of the population is using Chrome, this web browser, this car, to get to Google. Once you get to Google, you can go up here. You see my little picture up here. Well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a new account. You would click on that little circle. It'd probably have a little silhouette of a person. Click Add Account. Now, because I have several accounts, no big deal. So I'm going to use a different account. And I'm going to click down here. So this is a sign in. It'll let me sign in. I haven't had that email in about 30 years, so I don't know why we still have that one. And I'm going to create the account for myself. So my first name, of course, is Tom. My last name. And then I click Next. Then I can enter my birthday. Don't laugh at my age. I'm very sensitive. And I can enter my gender. And the reason it wants that is it wants to make sure that A, you're old enough, and B, they'll send you a nice email every now and then on your birthday to wish you a happy birthday. Basic marketing, customer satisfaction, customer service stuff. So then I can click Next, and it'll say it'll suggest emails. So here's Ursery Tom Ursery. Or create your own Gmail address. You can do any of those that you want. For ease, I will go in and I will select the TomUrsery808 @gmail. But I'm going to do create your own account so I can actually show you what happens. So if I try to pick an email address that is already being used, and I click Next, it's going to say, sorry, that email address is taken. I know that was taken because that was mine. So again, now just for the ease of our demonstration, I will pick one that they recommend because they will not recommend ones that are already taken. So then I could click Next, and now it's going to ask you to use a password. It's going to say create a strong password with a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. So for the purpose of this, demonstration, I'm going to click show password so you can actually see. Now, interestingly enough, these passwords don't match because I used a lowercase t here and I used an uppercase T here. So I'm going to change them so they do match, so it will work. Now, what's crazy about this, and this is where it gets fun, is the fact that if I actually use this password for this account, first off, you guys all have it. So I just broke every security protocol there is. But I chose this password because I have, here's a symbol. I have a mix of letters and numbers. I even went as far as to use a capital letter versus and lowercase letters in this password. So if I were to click Next, I met their criteria, and that would work. Now, as far as a best practice goes for your passwords, never show anybody. So I'm going to actually create a new one. Use those three characteristics, letters, numbers, special character, capital, but make it something that only you would know. The big joke in information technology field is that the most common password is the word password or the name and birth date of a loved one. So you hear about people getting their email account hacked. It's because they're using common passwords, things that don't mean anything. Things that people can figure out just by knowing you. So I'm going to use a different one. Oops, excuse me. See if I got them to match. I very rarely do. Now they want to confirm that I'm not a robot. So it's going to ask me for my phone number. This is actually a good thing because it wants to make sure that you're really you. And this will come in later when we talk about that two-step authentication process. So I'll go in, and now they're going to text me a code. So I'm entering the code. I click next. And now it's going to say, enter a recovery email address. Well, if this is your first email address, you don't have one. Which is why I usually tell people to try to set up 2 different email addresses so you can have a recovery. So in this case, we're going to assume that I don't have one, and I'll hit skip. They want to add this phone number for my phone number for account security. It won't be visible to others. And I'm going to say yes, go ahead and use it. And then it says get more from your number. If you'd like, you can add your phone numbers to your account to use across Google services to receive video calls and messages. And I basically say no to this and I skip it because I don't need any extra unsolicited calls, especially video calls. So here's my name. There's my email address and my recovery phone number. Life is good. I can click next. Then there's privacy and terms. Now this is the best part. As you go through the internet, these privacy and terms that people agree to, you see how fast I scrolled down? That was slow. Nobody ever reads this thing cover to cover. I'm not saying that that's the best idea in the world. What I did was I told Chrome in this case not to save this password. You can choose to save your passwords, and it'll autofill it for you. But if you're on a public computer and not an individual computer or your personal cell phone, then it becomes a problem because other people can get into your account. So you can continue to read all the fun stuff, read this information. I would highly recommend it because when they change their terms and conditions, usually towards the bottom is where they start calling out the different things. So I'll click agree. And in this case, personalization is turned on and they want to make sure that that's okay. And they want me to double confirm it. Basically what that means is they're going to track where I go and that type of stuff. Now it brought me back to the Google page, interestingly enough. You'll see up here at the top, it now says, hey, there's my account and my email address. Well, I also can go up here to Gmail. And you see the little spinning up here in the upper left? That just means it's loading. This is my mailbox. This is where all my emails get delivered. And you can set it up on your mobile device to come directly to your phone and get into all the other fun stuff. And then this is my inbox. I don't have anything in place as far as this can go. But what I can do is I can actually start sending emails right away. So in this case, I will send one to my Mott address. And I just type my subject. and I click send. So literally I clicked compose a new email up here on the left. I typed in the email address of the individual I needed to reach, in this case me. I put a subject in there, in this case it was just test. And then I said, hi, it's me. You see that little blue squiggly line underneath? That is because I am horrible at punctuation. So literally I can click, bring the mouse over it, click the right mouse button, and it'll recommend that it should be it's with the apostrophe. Poof, now it's just did a spell check. So even if I do typos, it will help me then be able to send it. If I wanted to attach a picture or an important document, I can click this little paperclip down here. This will allow me to format the text. This is inserting a link. I can do emojis. We'll talk about all those things down the road. But in basic performance, this is addressing and sending an email. And I can hit send. Now, it literally just said that down here in the lower left, my message is sent. Poof. I just signed up for Google, for Gmail, and sent an email in like 3 minutes. Having a professional looking email, like for instance, I used my name and the number 808 in this case. That helps when you're doing job searches and other things versus a silly name. I used to use a video game playing name that I used to use all the time, and it really confused potential employers why I would choose something like Obi Tom as an email. So I would recommend that you can have different email providers as well. The reason, for instance, you could have Yahoo, you could have if you pay for the internet through like a cable provider, they'll give you an email address, email account. All this stuff will potentially happen. The reason I chose Gmail is as we go through the internet some more, and we start talking about using other sites, you can actually connect a lot of sites through your Gmail credentials, the ID and password that we just set up, and it will connect that information. So literally it's easier for you to log in and get a new account set up on things like LinkedIn, news sites, whatever the case may be. Now, one other thing with Chrome, again, we're going to talk about internet browsing as a whole in another video, but literally any address that you want to do up here, you can do. So for instance, I live in Michigan, so I'm going to look at the Detroit News just to see what's going on in the world and how bad my Lions are going to be next year. Don't type Lions. So in this case, I typed in the www.detroitnews.com, and all I have to do now is hit enter, and it'll take me right there. And it loads pretty fast, and of course they're going to tell me that I can buy it, but I don't have to. And I can start scrolling down and looking at the reviewing the headlines as we go. You can scroll two ways. If your mouse there's three. There's one using the mouse pad. I personally don't use the mouse pad because it drives me crazy. The little flat thing under your keyboard on a laptop. You can go all the way over here to the right and use the scroll bar to scroll down or scroll up. You click and hold it and drag where you want to go. You can even skip ahead to go like full pages at a time. Or if your mouse has between the two buttons a little roller, a scroller, you can actually go hover over and use that scroll button to move the site up and down. So welcome to the internet. We've got a lot of good content coming down the way, including things like how to browse the internet safely, how to set it up on your mobile phone, and how to use Google and YouTube search engines to answer almost any question you can get that you can come up with. It's surprising and alarming. So if you like this video, please share, subscribe, like, follow, depending on the platform that you're on, and we'll be getting more videos out soon. Please comment below with any questions or feedback, and we'd love to hear from you, and as well as use our email address. Thank you very much.